Hey, what's going on? So you've gotten a letter or a notice from the IRS and you want to know what the heck is going on. What does this mean? There's some kind of letter number in the top. It's several pages long. I really don't understand any of this. This video, I'm going to help you understand the different reasons why you might have received a letter and then what to do with that letter once you've received it. I see a lot of letters from the IRS and there's several different things it can mean. I see a lot of clients who have received letters from the IRS, and typically they're either in a full-on panic or they're certainly uneasy about this because nobody wants to receive that letter from the IRS. So let me help you kind of ease those levels of anxiety, hopefully, because I think that simply understanding the different reasons why you might get a letter from the IRS and then understanding what your letter means will definitely help with those levels of anxiety. You might get a letter from the IRS because you have a balance due. Perhaps they have received your tax return and they've adjusted it for some reason, or they had different information than what you put on your return. It could be as simple as a typo when you were entering in the information on your tax return. So you might get a letter saying that you have a balance due. You might also get a letter saying that you're due a larger refund or a smaller tax refund. So maybe you don't owe anything, but the refund that you were expecting to get is going to be a little bit smaller, or the refund that you were expecting to get is going to be a little bit larger. We'd all like that letter from the IRS. The next thing is they might have a question about your tax return. They might just simply want you to provide additional documents at this point as it relates to your tax return. The IRS might need to verify your identity. If they suspect some sort of identity theft, they might send a letter asking for you to verify your identity. They might also just need additional information. This kind of goes back to with questions about your tax return, but they might send a letter looking for additional information. They might have changed your return, and so they're asking if you agree with this change or not. So you haven't actually gotten to the point where they have assessed a balance or changed your refund or said that you owe more or less. They just basically think that there should be a change on your tax return. They're going to send you a letter saying, this is what we think the change should be. This is how it's going to affect what you owe or how much refund you get. Do you agree with this change? They might need to notify you about a delay in processing of your tax return. So as you can see, not all of these are necessarily end of the world kind of bad situations where you might get a letter from the IRS. Some of them might actually be positive where you're due a larger refund. Some of them might be neutral where the IRS is just asking for additional information. And then of course you might have had tax ID, or you might have had identity theft as it relates to filing of a tax return, or you might owe more taxes. So what should you do once you get the notice? Number one, you should actually read the notice. I know that that might sound obvious, but you'd be surprised how many people get a letter from the IRS and it goes into their regular stack of mail and they just don't get around to even opening it. Or they open it, they look at it and they go, I'm never going to understand this, and they don't even try to read it. So I'm going to suggest that even if you're going to reach out to a professional for help in dealing with the letter you've received from the IRS, you need to read the letter. It might not be as bad as you think. It might be easier to understand than you think, but read the letter first. Secondly, after you read it, you need to respond to it. The IRS is almost always, these letters typically require a response, and it will explain to you what the response is. It will explain to you your options of whether or not you agree or disagree with what's in the letter, and it will spell out how to respond to the letter. You need to do that, and you need to do it within the time frame that the letter specifies. Otherwise, you're going to significantly increase the complications that you're currently having with the IRS if you don't respond in a timely manner. If there is an amount due and you agree with it, you need to pay it, and you need to pay it promptly, especially within the amount of time that the IRS letter gives you to pay it. If you cannot pay it, there are other options. Perhaps you qualify for an offer in compromise where you actually paid less than what you currently owe the IRS. There's also payment plans or installment agreements where you can pay it over time. But if there's nothing to contest, you need to pay the amount due. Lastly, you need to keep a copy of the notice and any correspondence that you have had with the IRS in your records with your other tax records. You need to be able to verify if you sent payment or if you responded to a letter in case it somehow gets lost in the mail. I do always recommend when sending responses to the IRS that you get tracking from the post office or some other sort of, however you send the letter, you need to get tracking so you can confirm that it was delivered. If you need help with any of these steps, then you need to reach out to a tax professional. My name is Brad. I'm with Wooten CPA. One of the things I do is I help people resolve issues or represent them before the IRS in order to help them take care of any problems they might have, such as receiving a letter or notice, having tax debts that they owe, or a balance due to the IRS that they cannot pay. So feel free to reach out to a tax professional who has an expertise in the process. The IRS is following a very specific process, and it helps to have someone who is familiar with that process and who can get familiar with your situation and help explain to you so that you have a good understanding the different options that are available to you, what's not available to you, and why it's not available to you, so that you can progress and resolve this issue with the IRS. Again, my name is Brad. I'm with Wooten CPA. Please reach out if you need any help with this. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you get notified as other videos come out. I have all sorts of videos on personal budgeting, tax prep, tax planning, and dealing with problems with the IRS. Thanks for watching.